Skinny Hardaway 7T, back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor, y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, greatly appreciate you if you could hit that thumbs up. If it's your first time, do your boy a solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. We're on the road to 4K. It's fight weekend. Yesterday, I did the fight breakdown and prediction between Alyssa Bumgarner and Christina Lauredato. I picked Alyssa Bumgarner to win that fight by unanimous decision this Saturday over Christina Lauredato. Today, we're here for the fight breakdown and prediction between Frank Martin and I want to make sure I say this correctly, Artem Harutyunyan, right? Harutyunyan, Harutyunyan. They look like Harutyunyan to me. Harutyunyan. That's what I'm going with. Harutyunyan. We got Frank Martin versus Harutyunyan. I'm not overly familiar with Harutyunyan. I did do some research, and I will say, upon doing my research, I found out that Harutyunyan, he's actually pretty good. You know what I mean? He's actually a pretty good boxer. You know what I mean? I know, of course, right? I know a lot more about Frank Martin, right? But the research I did on Artem, he's half decent. You know what I mean? Real poised kind of boxer. He's a boxer puncher kind of guy, right? Poised kind of boxer. He got a nice jab. You know what I mean? He's going up against it, right? With Frank Martin, I feel like Frank Martin is right in his prime. I feel like Frank Martin is right at that point in his career where he feels like he can beat anybody, and you need that confidence, right? When you're on boxing, I think Frank Martin's at the point in his career where he feels like he could beat anybody. But this guy, Artem, I want to make sure I say his name right. This guy, Artem Harutyunyan, no, he's not coming to play. I'm gonna start with Artem, right? Because he's the fighter that we know a little less about. Artem is undefeated. He's a 12-0 guy, right? So, like I was saying, Frank Martin is not coming in here, with a cakewalk. Artem Harutyunyan, he's 12-0 with 7 KOs. So he's 12-0 with 7 KOs. He's 5'7.5". He's from Germany. His last fight was against Humberto Gladindo. He's 14-1. His fight before that was a knockout win over Samuel Molina, who was 16-0. He had a split decision win before that versus Vladislav Milik, who was 13-3. He had a stoppage over Miguel Austin, who was 19-4. A majority decision over Islam Dumanov, who's 10-1, and the UD over Hugo Sartanian, who's 19-5. So I ran off his record to say this, right? While we don't know a whole lot about this guy, we could check this guy box rate, we could check this guy resume, and we can look at just the records of the opponents that he faced off against. You know what I mean? So far, and the records of the opponents that he faced off against are pretty good. You know what I mean? I got a chance to watch him a little bit. He's not a guy who forcefully seeks knockouts, but he is a guy who know how to put his punches together and get a knockout if he needs it. If is Artem Harutyunyan, right? So again, 12-0, 7 KOs. His last 7 fights were against people with all winning records. The combined opponent record for his last 7 fights, the guys only have 7 losses, right? Now you got to compare that to some of these guys who fight guys' records that's 13-33, right? And his last 7 fights, his guys only had 7 losses, and he's fought 3 undefeated fighters in his last 7 fights. So Artem Harutyunyan isn't a guy, who's a slouch. He isn't a guy who's been walking around here bashing bums. So I'm expecting Frank Martin to have his hands full in this one. Frank Martin is 17-0 with 12 KOs, 28 years old, 5'8" with a 6'8" inch arm reach. His last fight was against the great prospect Michelle Rivera. Michelle Rivera was 24-0, and Frank Martin beat him, and he kind of made it look easy that he did that fight against Michelle Rivera. You see, I said he made it look easy, not that it was easy. It was good, BC. Appreciate you sliding through. He made it look easy. Not saying that it was easy, right? And before that, he knocked out Jackson Martinez. Who was 19-2, and Romero Danu before that, who was 24-2. So Frank Martin has a nice little task on his hands. Uh, has a nice little task on his hands this Saturday versus Artem Harutyunyan. I do expect this fight to be as competitive for as long as it lasts. In this fight, both these guys do have the power, right, to knock guys out. They're more so of skill set knockout guys, right? They tend to let their boxing, they tend to let their boxing lead, and then if they get the knockout, it's going to come over the course of the fight. You know what I mean? Over the attrition of the fight, accumulation knockout guys. Frank Martin has displayed some one punch power, right? It doesn't show itself in every fight, but the one punch power is that was good shade, girl. Appreciate you sliding through. If y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy. So Frank Martin's one punch power is there. He's not a guy that go chases knockouts. He's a little more acceptable of chasing the knockout than Harutyunyan, right? A little more aggressive fighter, but still not a solely aggressive fighter. I'm expecting as far as like the physical attributes in this, Frank Martin, I think, is a slightly faster puncher, but Harutyunyan does have some pop on it, some popping speed on his punches. Frank Martin is more athletic, but Harutyunyan is a highly skilled boxer, and I'm expecting it to be a rough go for Frank. I think it's going to be a little friction, you know what I mean, in this fight early, but I think Frank is going to figure him out. He goes settle in, and I think eventually he's going to outbox Harutyunyan, right? I got Frank Martin winning unanimous decision. It's going to be a close unanimous decision, right? Not It's not going to be close in the sense where I think Frank may get beat up, but I think this guy's going to make Frank think and make Frank use his full arsenal of boxing ability, kind of how he had to do against Michelle Rivera, right? But I think in the end, Frank Martin kind of make this guy look like he made Michelle Rivera look also. You know what I mean? But I don't got Frank Martin that knockout. He very well could knock this guy out. This guy is a lot smaller than Frank. Frank does have that power, but he's an educated boxer, a very skilled boxer, and I'm thinking Frank is going to win this fight on the card. So I got Frank Martin unanimous decision this weekend over Artem Harutyunyan. This fight is going to be a lot better, you know what I mean, than people think. So make sure y'all tune in this Saturday. Frank Martin 17-0 with 12 KOs. Artem Harutyunyan is 12-0 with 7 KOs, right? His last 7 opponents all have winning records with a combined total losses of 7 and about 88 wins. You know what I mean? So he's not a guy that's out here bashing bones. He's not a guy that's out here bashing scrubs, right? Is Artem Harutyunyan. He's a real fighter, and Frank Martin's going to have his hands for it. But Frank Martin, unanimous decision this weekend over Harutyunyan. Should be a good fight between two skill boxers. I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too long with this EP. Coming back with another fight breakdown and prediction for this weekend. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. It's getting harder way 70T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. It's the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.